Today I'm making a pipe shelf. This channel is really about celebrating life.
I love this little boat.
We're gonna fish off the ice bridge.
Already shredded.
Basically using black iron pipe. What you want to do is just get a sheet of plywood or whatever you got laying around. I'm using plywood, and cut it to the exact shape that you want. Mine happens to be like the desk. It's an L shaped. It's actually the cutoff from the desk, so I don't have any waste. And then I just drew out the pieces that I was going to need. The elbows, flanges, the length of pipe, which would be good. So the first thing you got to do if you want these to look good, you can paint them, but I just use paste wax. You got to clean them really well, and you use brake cleaner to do that. When you pour spray brake cleaner on it, and then you scrub it with a scrub brush, or just paper towels will work fine, and you'll get a semi-decent finish. When you put the paste wax on it, that's where the magic happens. And you do that to all your pieces, and then you just screw them together by hand. You don't need to get wrench on it with a pipe wrench. They're very strong. I got 1-inch pipes because that's all they had left. You can use 3/4, you can use a 1/2 inch. Whatever you can get your hands on will work. I mean, even if you did like a laundry room shelf where you needed to put like big jugs of soap and bleach and stuff like that on it, this shelf is just rock solid sturdy, and it's super easy. They say that you can have it easy or you can have it cheap, but you can't have both, and this is the case. So the hardware probably cost me $100 in pipes for this size shelf. I'm sure you can do it less expensively. Just look around, see if you can find sales. And then I'm just going to assemble these, and then I'm going to screw them in using screws that are less thick than the board that you're using. So I have a 3/4 inch board of plywood. I'll probably use 1/2 inch screws. What you want to do is decide whether or not you want to screw it into the wall first or screw it into your board first. Now I recommend you screw the pipes into the wall first, using level, of course, and then set your board on top of it, and then you don't have to know where the holes go. They just go in wherever they lay. If your pipes are all the same size and you did your measurements correctly, or at least close, the support should be equal throughout. So some of these come out of the package like this, super clean, and they need almost no brake cleaner to clean them. Still use the brake cleaner on them because you want to get any grease that's on there, any residual grease. So if you paint or use paste wax, it sticks to it a little bit better. Some come out black as day, or black as night rather, and they take quite a bit of work or elbow grease to get that off. Just do your best. It probably won't be perfect on every pipe. If you're looking for perfect, I suppose you could use some sanding paper, but then you might scratch the surface. I wouldn't try anything less than like a 600 grit if you're going to do that. Decided to come to the shop, down to the shop rather, and assemble my pipes here, save my kitchen table. Today I'm working on pipes. I'm just going to do a little time lapse. I'll do one for you, and then I'll do time lapse. Okay, so you'll get crud in here. This one, of course, I say it doesn't have that much. So you just want to go through a wire brush and get all the stuff out. You can see everything that's falling, maybe. Do it on both sides. Otherwise, it'll get jammed up, and each pipe won't sit at the same level, at the same fitting, within each fitting rather. Don't have to be He-Man, just one good tighten, good enough. Put on the elbow. And what we need is another flange. So in order to put the flange on, you got to put this piece in. Same thing, get all the crud out. and put the flange on. So it's going to come out of the wall, hold our shelf, and that's it. And that's like rock solid. Like, you're not moving that. All right, now I just got to repeat the process. Now for me, I should have 3 identical ones like this, and then I got a little bit of a shorter one. And the reason for this shorter one is on the shorter part of the L side. So if the L comes like this width right here is not as wide as this width here. So I made this pipe a little bit shorter so that the supports sit in the middle where I want it to. And they're done. All I gotta do now is I gotta cut one piece of the L-shaped shelf off, and then I need to sand it and chamfer the edges a little bit. I'm gonna round off to the corners. And I'm just going to draw a little line with a piece of PVC and cut it with a jigsaw and sand it. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to stain it. I may put a coat of poly on it. That's it. And then I'm done. I'm just going to screw it into the pipes, or screw the pipes into the wall. I'm going to lay the board. I may put a 2x4 onto these pipes just so I have a template of where I need the shelf to sit. And then I'll just attach the 2x4 and replace it with the shelf. And I'll basically just hook up 3 of the posts on one of the walls. And on the second wall, on the shorter end, I'm not going to attach it until I attach the first 3. And then I'll be able to attach the 4th one exactly where I need it to be. So this is what's left over from the sheet of plywood from my desk. I literally just cut this piece out, and that's what I used for my desktop. Using these pipes, it's very easy, same exact process. This part is going against the window, and there's a window edge that's right here. So I got to draw a line there, cut it with the skill saw, and then I can sand it, stain it, put it up. Now I measured a 2x4, the same length as my shelf. And what I plan on doing is I'm going to drill these in. This board is going to represent the shelf. So I'm going to line it up with the back of the board here so they're all at the same distance from the wall. And I'm going to put the screws in relatively loosely so I can make it for adjustment when I'm leveling this thing on the wall. And then once it's level, I'll take this board off and I'll be able to just set the shelf right on top of these pipes and just screw them in, and I'll be done. So it's a little bit trash, but this is the desk that I made. And the base looks exactly the same, right? Missed a step. So this line is where I need to cut. But if I cut just like this, it's plywood, it's gonna have some tear out here. Which I'm gonna have some anyway, but I'd like to reduce it or minimize it. So I'm just gonna put on some painter tape after I mark both edges. So I'm going to mark here on the outside edge, and I'm going to mark here on the outside edge. Again, I'm not looking for perfect. I just want it to be decent. Then I redraw the line. Line it up with my edge here, the line that I made. Now remember, this is a cut edge, so it's not flat. So I want to straighten it out here. Make sure my line is straight from here to here. Hold it down tight on the line. Now I want to cut it. I want it just through. Yeah, it should be good. And cut. Hopefully. And the reveal. We'll see how much tear out we have. 0! That's amazing. Alright, that makes me happy. Now she's ready for sanding. I gotta work on a couple edges that are kind of funky, and then staining. This bad boy's ready to go up. So it's little things like this that are gonna show. So I need to cut that. Sorry, I'm sweating. I need to cut that with a handsaw, get that nice and pretty, and then I'm gonna sand it. She should be good. On the corners that we're gonna actually see, that one, out around the edges. So nobody wants to walk into the edge of a corner. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't. It hurts. Whatever floats your boat, man. So I'm gonna do that to this corner and cut that with a jigsaw. There's another corner. I'm gonna do the same thing. Get it lined up with the edge. Trace the pipe. Should end up with something like that. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Now I'm just going to cut it out with a jigsaw. That's it. I'm going to do it to the other side and then I'm sand it. I'm going to start with like a 60 grit. I'm going to work my way to 220. Not going to really go crazy. I am going to do both sides. Because you should be able to see the shelf from above and below. So there's a little time lapse of that. Now I'm going to stain it, let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to wipe it off. I really like the way that color looks. It's exactly the same as my computer desk. In the back here, it's going to be against the wall, so I don't really care about it. Now that it looks like I've been jacking off a Smurf, that'll be there for a few weeks. You can wear gloves if you want, but I like this look. It's really what I'm going for. I like to pick produce up and scare ladies in the produce section. So I'm just going to try and line the middle of this pipe up with the line as best that I can. It won't be perfect right now. I'm just going to line this up with the back edge for evenity. You like that word? Evenity. This is the short one, so I'm not going to use that. Close. See how she does on the wall. Hold this screw right there. Hold it like from the bottom of the screw.
This is gonna hurt, right?
Is it gonna hurt?
Yeah.
No. Hold it.
Screws.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Alright, so the first screw is in. Now we're going to put the level on. I'm going to ask you to actually hold these pipes in a minute. So can you hold this pipe right there? You can use 2 hands. You can hold the board too if that's easier. You got it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let go now. Up, fail. Fail!
Why are they made out of like sewage pipes and literally?
You let go.
Yeah, now this whole bit.
Perfect. I'm just gonna screw this one up, and we're good to go. It's perfectly level. Then I'm actually gonna take this board off, and I'm gonna put on that nice piece that I cut. So it looks pretty. You know we gotta have it pretty. You don't like sewage pipes? I like weird. Now we can take these out. Alright. Solid already. Get rid of this. Now we can put our board on when it's done. Now if you remember, I told you that there's studs all behind here. That's why this color doesn't match this color. Because I tore up this wall when I was rebuilding the office to try and get more electrical in here. I did end up running electrical on that wall and the wall behind me, but I couldn't get any in this wall because it's all studs. Big, fat, huge studs. So these I can just temper by twisting them if I need to get it flatter so it fits the shelf. This I'll probably need to tighten a little more, but ultimately it's ready to go. There we go. That's rock solid. I'd hang off of one, but I'm not an idiot. I don't know, that's pretty strong. Ah! That way I can put my envelopes on it and it doesn't fall down. Not a sponsored video, just what I'm using. Spray poly. Do the edges, and then I go lengthwise. Try and keep the can as vertical as you can. Shake it up real good. And I think this is my 4th coat. I'm not 100% sure. Helps if you hit the wood. It's hard to camera and spray at the same time. So I like to do the edges first, and then I do long spurts. Shake it. Shake it. Do it again. Shake it. And I go with the grain because I don't know. It's what you do. I don't know why. I'm not sure how many coats is actually on this. So I basically started my coats maybe 6-7 hours ago, 8 hours ago, and then within 2 hours I lay on another coat, and then I wait about an hour and a half and I do another coat, and I wait an hour and a half and I do another coat, and I wait an hour and a half and do another coat, and then I'm going to wait 72 hours. And after 72 hours, I'm just going to check to see if it's tacky on the edge with my finger. If it needs a light sanding to get some of these white fuzzies that almost always end up in my damn poly for some reason, I'll just sand that off very lightly, super lightly, and then I'll flip it over and do the other side, and hopefully in another 50 weeks we'll have this damn thing installed. And that's it. All done. Now I need to paint these dang walls.